Good morning. Thanks. Good morning. How's everybody? You've been able to try Linux yet?
Yes, I'm really thinking about moving all my files and making sure that they in order. I guess I'm not making it.
It's an abusive relationship you're in. Let him go.
Maybe. But on the project, it's still finally sticking here, but
Okay.
it's next year.
All right.
Oh,
What?
I thought it was,
Oh, no,
I thought you were right.
no, no. Getting it out of Yeah, borrowing a MacBook, that'll kind of fix that. Yeah, it'll fix it, but if it's borrowed, then it's not permanent fix.
Okay, maybe I talked to you at the class
It's
about
just-
the permanent fix.
The permanent fix is it's time to get away from Windows. Yeah,
You see what I'm
Look.
going through?
he's bad for you. You can do better.
Like, how,
Yeah,
but when you're in it this long.
yeah, that's the sunk cost fallacy. It's a classic psychological trap. I was victim to it as well. But I made the change and I've never been happier. Yeah. It's if you're gonna do any scientific computing in your future after this class, you gotta dump Windows. Seriously, it's like it breaks everything. It's not made for bioinformatics.
What happens with the?
Okay.
When you hire someone, it's just like, not
Yeah,
Are you? Oh.
it also doesn't support multi-threading, like, so everything's gonna take 16 times longer, like,
Why?
it enforces file name endings, the little .exe and stuff. You know how I told you, like, those don't matter? They do in Windows. They forced it to matter, and so you can't open like an MD file as plain text, and forces you to open it with it's stupid proprietary software. And then when you save the file, it saves it with Windows only new line characters. You know how to like backshift in new line? It doesn't on Windows. Because for Windows to do a new line, it has to do its own special character that no other operating system uses, which is carriage return, then a new line. So it uses two characters to meet under. Carriage return comes from the days of the typewriter, where it reaches the end of the little thing and they built that in and they just kept it in Windows. Of course, right?
Because they would still keep it technology friendly. That's.
My dad used to use typewriter in grad school.
Oh.
I used to carry one around, like, you know, as a hipster thing. Like,
You get a little like.
I had it was strapped to the back of my bike. And I'd go around and like type poems for people downtown. super douchey, but like,
Did you have a hat out like on the streets?
no, it felt dirty to charge for it, but you know, it was a 1933 Underwood. It was a cool typewriter. So yeah, the 1960s is the last time typewriters were used, not 18.
Not bad.
Yeah, see. I'm getting your assignments. Cool. Who pushed a bunch of sequence files?
Who was able to get them on there?
A whole bunch of, they're all small, but like,
Dang.
wow. Holy.
I didn't go get the data. I was like, okay.
I gotta know for public shaming purposes.
Like, they might ignore the work. I don't get it. I did like one at a time because it was terrifying.
Okay, Vera. Vera's not here. Bad Vera. All right, what we would do to fix this is what?
Just do the dots or add to get them.
Yeah, so we could add all of these to get ignore by adding that. So add to your get ignore, just put the whole directory and it'll.
I
get
tried
everything.
to do that, it made, like, it didn't work initially, I don't know if it was like I typed
Did
it
you use the
before.
slash at the end?
I used the slash at the end, but then I put a star after and it worked that way, but
Yes.
not like the just data, which
Okay,
was.
so if you don't put the slash, that's why I highlighted just the raw.
Oh.
So I honestly don't know why. Because forever I was trying to like put the whole directory with
Yeah.
the slash meaning directory, but get ignore doesn't like that. It likes the name of the directory and it expands the slash itself and all the files inside.
Okay, so if there's like, because like I did it after data and like didn't have a slash, it doesn't know if it wants the raw and the trim, so I would have to go to like, do it to raw. and
Right,
delete
so
and
like
empty.
the highlighted part here added as a line to get ignore would
Yeah,
ignore all files inside of raw. If you
Okay.
only wanted certain files, you could do raw slash star.fastq.gz, and that would just find all the files that were fastq and keep those out.
so it's the like slash data slash raw, nothing after that, no slash, no star.
No slash after raw, yeah.
Yeah, and then that would work, and I would just like do the trim as well, and that would also.
Yeah. And that way you can keep all the stuff in data that you wanted, but
Yeah.
in the raw and trim, all the files. Or ignored. Cool. Okay, quiz 4. Yeah, go ahead and log into Bora.
We had our like quiz 4 directory or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
There's another review site.
No. Wait, I don't remember.
I don't know.
No, read me. Okay, so you're gonna create a new bash script in your quiz 4 called countfiles.sha. It will accept a directory as a positional argument and return the number of files, not directories, in that directory. Make it executable, and then from your quiz 4, I want you to run the script on your quiz 3 directory. Okie dokie, go for it. We run it from here. Select the count files
That's right.
on. Quiz 3.
But I just called it like. And that
Right.
was when I called it from the quiz for, I think went back out. And then into that.
Yeah, it does go back out at the bottom.
I should have.
Because you need to be able to run this from anywhere on any directory. Right now, you've got your script doing things that we didn't ask for. Got 1 minute left. And to grade it, I want you to queue this up. We're running your script from quiz 4 back to quiz 3. All right, time's up.
No,
No?
not at all.
Okay. All right, this one, I think this one broke you guys a little bit. My apologies, but let's take a look at it. All right, so I'm in quiz 4. If I look back at quiz 3, I've got no files in mind, so I'll touch a few. Just so I can demonstrate this. Touch quiz 3. File 1. Okay. I've got 10 files in it. So nano count files dot shebang and bash. We got a positional argument, it needs to be a directory. And so. That's $1 for a positional argument. And I'll say ls everything on one line. $1. Type that to word count L. Count the number of lines. And that's it. Chmod plus X. Count files dot sha. So I should now be able to run count files. And give it. Quiz 3. And gives me 10.
Is that only moving files like within that directory, not directories filed within that?
How would we modify this to make sure it doesn't list everything in there?
It's the only one files within that directory, not filed within that directory.
Okay.
Oh. So I think we're going for.
Oh, a for loop.
Okay.
Really?
I need my group. Would it have worked if I had actually done it?
For I am $1 do.
So add one every time.
No, because bash you're like thinking like you're doing C++ or Python.
Yeah.
Bash sucks at math. It doesn't like doing x equals plus plus x, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, this was it.
Yeah.
That's the script. There are other ways to do it. You could do a for loop, but I mean, wow. Kind of overkill, maybe. So what happened?
I thought I was trying to find like every file in every directory within a subdirectory.
That would be like this. Find here. Word count out. I haven't showed you the find. But find works like this. Find stuff, this is your search through all your files and folders, and you tell it where to start, and it will recurse through everything from that point. So you can just find dot. And I found that stuff. If I go up into quizzes and say find dot, it finds every directory and file. And it's kind of nice because it gives you the entire relative path to where you started from.
Can you show what that with your? Or the other, like the actual,
What do you want to see?
like you just said, yeah, that.
Oh, yeah. We go back to where it was. So you find is tell me a directory to start in, and I will find everything for you. And then it lets you customize it. So you could say like find and then give it a name pattern. Like just files that end in .txt, and it'll just find those. Or you can say just find directories with a -d. Find is helpful. We'll spend some time on it in the near future because it's a nice way of not knowing where something is, but having it find it and give you the exact path to it from where you are.
Is that not list like directory as well?
Find us? Yeah,
No, ls/1.
yeah, we could modify that.
Was
How?
it, would this, was the question asking like, for directories here?
No, just the file. So how would we modify it to make it? I didn't have any directories in there, so this works, but how would I change this? ls command. Oops. List everything on one line. Alright, so capital R lists everything recursively.
Where did you put it on line? It's like at the.
Because I want to list everything on one line a piece. If I just do ls, it it puts it all on one line for me and just wraps.
Oh, I see.
So since I wanted to count them, I just said one per line and then count the number of lines.
Okay.
If you have a blank.
Yeah, it would.
How can you like remove or remove? Like,
Blank lines?
yeah, like if I was trying to do something where I was like ls dash r is like the parameter. And then,
Capital R?
yeah, and then I did grep inverse or define lines anything after like a colon.
Right, so
And-
like this.
Yeah, and then I did grep after that I piped it to like grep dash v colon. Or dash v or no dash v works fine. And then I had all the files, but then like there was a bunch of lines.
I would pipe it to another grep. And I'd say grep V starts with what?
Anything?
Anything?
Or not anything, their characters, they did not.
Starts with and then ends. Isn't that weird?
So we need to do it in that minus or like dash one to get just the virus.
No, the dash R is recursive, right? So that's kind of like trying to do what find does. Where it recurses into everything.
What does recursive mean? I feel like I've just been confused by like when we
What?
do like remove recursively or like do this.
Think of recursive as I will go into subdirectories as I find them. So you could say list all the people in ISC3. And that means I'm walking in the door, I'm looking through all the hallways and counting all the people and listing them. If I do that recursively, I'm also going to go into the rooms and count them. And if there's a closet in the room, I'm going to go into the closet too. Right? So like recursive just means I'm going to tunnel down every subdirectory I find. When you remove a folder, you have to do rm-r because it's basically saying like, I don't want to remove a folder unless you tell me that we're recursing into folders.
So that would just like that's how you can remove the directory and everything in it.
How would I get rid of any directories? So if I ls1 ... listing everything that includes directories, let me touch a file there. Okay. I've got file and all these directories, and I'd like to remove them from my list. Just from the display, I don't want to actually remove them. But like, I want to list just the files, not all the directories. An easy way here to tell what's a directory and what's a file.
Is it the one versus
Close. To the left of it, the D. Starts with P. That.
In the help thing for LS, it has a thing like dash capital I, it says ignore in the pattern, could you use something like that?
That's tough because that pattern is talking about the file name itself or the directory name itself. Yeah. All right. Well, that was a fun quiz. Sorry. Um, Looking at what y'all were trying to do, I think maybe you overcomplicated it in your mind a bit. Okay.
I think it frozen and it's like, oh, no, you know.
Right. Yeah. How do I count files in the directory? Okay.
I was like trying to like think directory like the LSR out there. I was like, how did it even like look? I was like reading it and I was like, oh shit, I have to show you.
Sorry. Don't hate me. Yours work.
I don't know how,
Take the win.
well, I like, yeah, cause so you did the LS.
You wanna show
one,
me?
I didn't.
I want to actually see.
Yeah. I didn't have to change much from when I did, oh, wait, I'm not in my direction. I was like, so I get to do this. I just did that.
Okay.
So I didn't even have to do the one, that's why I was confused. How it worked, but I got
Yeah.
3 files.
Well, I'll let you keep your credit, but because I didn't catch this. All right, so. And then you did LS1.
I just did LS and then I typed it for the word count, like lines.
Okay,
So I just like, the only thing I didn't have was the like the -1.
well, you've got an extra thing right here
Yeah, because
that makes me sad. Well, why?
it's like the calling, so like we have the script and then it's like you're giving a directory, so does it like take it to that directory? Right?
Yeah, your script suddenly moved the stage of action to the directory that you gave it. That's kind of spooky behavior is one way that it's like your script is doing things in your environment, it's moving your location to a spot and not telling them, by the way, I've moved you.
Mhm.
And so now you running that script, you think you're still right here and you ran that script looking at that directory, but suddenly you've secretly moved to that
So
directory.
if I didn't have the $1, it would just like be from quiz 4 like keeping it at quiz 3.
You're gonna keep
But
that.
then I kept it and then went into quiz 3.
You went
that's
in
how-
and then looked at it.
Okay.
Yeah,
How did my LS work? If like,
worked right.
like,
Don't we also need what you did to just list the files, because you said that includes directories?
Yeah,
If
so
we
that
need
would
more
be
than
the LS. L1 and L. Type it to grep, just like we did. Get rid of things that start with D.
Okay.
And then. Count them.
Yeah.
You want to get real fancy, you can throw in capital A for almost all. And that removes the implied dot and dot dot. That can't be right. That's it. Yeah, so I screwed it up somehow. Oh, it's because I don't have any directories. It's what I forgot was correct. V
Oh, so if we did like the,
Yeah, I
Like
kept
that.
only directories. I need to remove anything that's a directory. There we go. Okay. I can't do until I. Yeah. Great. Yes.
Sorry.
Good.
But, I don't think the person there for me. I'm pretty sure I only have 3 in first grade.
It's the capital A then,
I didn't put the capital, there you go. I need that.
because that's almost all.
Okay.
OS help. If we go to all the way up here. Do not list the implied dot and dot dot.
Got it.
Those should be removed anyway if we're getting rid of the D
Yeah,
lines. Yeah,
okay.
so dash A is like the capital A is only for like don't list. those two.
just those two things.
Mhm.
The lowercase a says do not ignore anything that starts with a dot. So it'll count the hidden files also.
And you can just like stack all the different flags together, is there like a specific order?
No order. Isn't that beautiful? What's not beautiful about it is that sometimes the order does matter.
I was gonna, yeah, because I feel like if you're getting really certain things that you're actually looking for. Like, so do you just kind of put them in the order that you want them to occur, and if there's like, it doesn't matter, then just whatever.
Yeah, if they're all just behavioral things like this, you know, these don't matter what order they're in.
Mhm.
And for LS, it doesn't matter what order they're in general, because all the stuff that happens gets decided before it runs the LS. Now I'm gonna get into Bora. Concerns. I think fix today, but first. We didn't quite get a chance to look at seed kit together. So that was in lesson 5, but we've got seed kit. I think I do. Which seed kit? Yep, I sure do. So I'm just going to use this one as kind of a little test case example of how do we take a new program that maybe we've never seen before and figure out how to use it. So where do you start? You can try just running it and see what happens. Okay, this one's nice to us. It's like, hey, you didn't tell me what to do, so I'm just gonna automatically spit out some help file for you. That won't always be the case. Sometimes it just gives you an error, right?
That was just the default, like you could always do that.
Yeah, no, it's the Wei Shen here, the author, was being real nice and knew that sometimes people would just try to run it. Okay. So that's a decent place to start. It's not gonna hurt anything to do that. You can try -H. That gave me the same thing here.
So is that kind of like a more standard thing, like if you have a, like, program, if you do that, like the name of it, -H, it'll give you the help menu?
Sometimes.
Oh, okay, so that's also just.
So this is my second thing I tried. It's just running -H. And it may say, I don't know what you're talking about. In which case you try -- help. And this one gave me the same thing. So like ls-h. That's not the help file. The dash, I can't talk tonight. The -H for ls means human readable, and so it changes bytes into megabytes and all that. So ls-help brings up the help There's another thing you can try, man, or manual LS. And that gives you a scrollable, you can like use your arrow keys in space. Manual for using this thing. To get out of this, you hit Q to quit. What else can you try? You got a brand new program, Kit, and your horrible professor just says, figure it out. ChatGPT, anybody? Yeah, seriously.
I tried asking chat for some things, but it doesn't really sound the most up to date.
Nowhere actually has all the most up-to-date information though. It's not a bad place to go. And so it's kind of moving up in my list of like figuring out a new piece of software to like number 2. I first tried to run it and then I'm like, oh, okay, I don't actually understand this help file. Ask chat. A year ago, that wasn't the case, and I was going to like BioStars or Stack Overflow, these forums. They've got good stuff. Not always the most up to date, but whatever. An answer 2 years ago is probably still going to work. And so it depends on your style, like how you want to learn a new tool. I'm thinking that chat's actually coming better and better as the first choice, like to go to. And if it's wrong, you'll find out because you'll get error messages and you can send them back and say, hey, idiot, like this didn't work. It's like, you're so right. Great catch. Yeah. I kind of hate how positive it is sometimes.
I think you can tell it to stop me.
Yeah, but it forgets every time they update the model. Yeah.
The link. At the top of the help menu, is the document, and I'm scrolling through it, and it
For
was,
Kit,
yeah, it was pretty helpful.
CPI.
This website, they made a whole thing for us.
Okay,
Yeah, the documents.
look at that. Copy that. Let's try it out.
Yeah, we don't, but we're gonna get on.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's even like a little thing on the side for usage.
Frequently asked questions. We got a tutorial. Oh, no. This is special. I haven't seen this page before. I like it. Wow, dude. Alright, who did this? Wei Shen. Like,
Email her, thank you.
why not? You know, okay, so I've been one of the people that writes the software and I still get people emailing me a few times a year, like, thanks for saving me. Oh, it just feels nice. So why not? Like, who is this person? Let's find out.
Stop me get that.
Why not? This is important, seriously, because like all these tools are just written by people. And more than half of them are written by students. They're doing it for their thesis or their dissertation or whatever, and they did it to solve their problem. And they're being nice, they're providing it to you for free. It's important to know kind of how this like freeware bioinformatics software stuff works. These are people, and they do sometimes answer emails. Hello. Yeah,
Please don't follow us.
okay. We've got a website. That's pretty lame website. There we go. Associate professor in bioinformatics. Got the lab. So we can see their students. That seems angry. Okay. Yeah, I mean, can you do this with software you pay for? Microsoft Word? No, but if you use Linux and LibreOffice, yeah, you can see the source code. You can see the people who wrote it. They have their emails. You can ask them questions about it. There's forums for using it. I can just go download the source code and edit it myself if I knew how. For LibreOffice, I don't know how, but yeah, so these are just people, and honestly, Wei has done an awesome job with this. That website is killer. If you're using this, look, cite it. Okay. Look, it's a publication. Right, so we use this software, it became helpful for us, we're gonna cite it. And so we'll add this to Zotero and call it good. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna copy that info. I'm gonna open up my Zotero here. And I'm gonna add this. Add by DOI. Oops. Cool, I've got this publication now. You can cite it anytime I use SeekKit. Great. Peer review.
So if we were to like, I think it's just. Whatever, okay. If we're using this to work through reads for our project, we need it.
Yeah, you should
Okay.
absolutely cite this.
Like if we're using these types of programs.
Yeah, you have to.
Okay.
Yeah. So like in your publication, you'll say like whatever it is you did with SeekKit, and honestly, it seems like it can do quite a bit, right? So I don't know, extract subsequences and sliding windows. So you had this whole genome, and you're like, we're looking for subsequences that match these. We use SeekKit and then citation. We had old Illumina data, FASTQ quality scores were converted to modern Illumina encoding using SeekKit convert citation. And you'll see that in publications, you cite the software and the version you use. And so that's another important thing. What version is this? Unknown flag version.
So then I'll put top of it.
There we go. How would I automatically document this? If I've got a pipeline, I'm using SeekKit. This is the sort of thing we haven't really talked about yet, but we can make our code keep track of all this for us, like in a README or in a environment file, which we're going to see today,
About just like commenting.
without commenting it. So we could say SeekKit grep version, type that, oops, or redirect that to the environment file. Just so that we're like keeping track of everything. Because when it comes to publication time, you say this, you might get a reviewer that says, "You're too stupid to write a paper. You can't even like keep track of your versions. If you not believe in reproducibility, you should never have been born." Those reviewers exist, and then you're like, "Oh yeah, it's version 2.10. Thank you so much for your kind feedback." All right. So, yeah, this is nicer than most software. So maybe kind of a bad example, but also a good one. We can see like, all right, seek could seek. We can extract ID, filter by length, remove gaps, reverse complements. So transform sequences. SeekKit, seek. What can it do? just running it isn't giving me anything, now it's suddenly giving me an error. Can I maybe ask for help there? Yeah, so the subcommand dash dash help tells me all the things that C can do. And tells me the usage also, right? Standard in, not detected. So I would have to type a file to it, or I'd have to give it a file name. So we can remove gaps. We can convert DNA to RNA. We can do complement. We can colorize the sequences. It's fun. Print only the IDs instead of the full headers. That could come in handy. Pretty nice. The full header has all that garbage on it. We usually just want the sequence name. RNA to DNA, only print the sequences, so leave the headers off. Go to uppercase or lowercase. So I didn't want to spend too much time here, but just like in lesson 5, it's just a few ways that you can like start kind of exploring a new tool. I wouldn't count on there always being a beautiful website like that. But are we ready to move on? All right, so let's get into lesson 6. Remove that n.txt. And so we're going to talk about environments, and this is kind of what we were looking at there with versions and all that stuff. So this cartoon sums up the reality of essentially our entire software stack on planet Earth. It's funny, you can find it funny, because it's true. This recently came up with Java and the internet. How much of the internet runs on Java? And there's this little package that makes Java itself run in online server settings that the internet doesn't work without. And it is actually maintained by one person who's been doing it for free for about 15 years now.
The entire internet,
Yeah,
like the entire.
well, almost every web page you go to visit has Java running. And Java doesn't run very well in like distributed cloud settings without this library that this guy has written. And every time they update Java or their website, he's been going, okay, I'm going to update this package so it works now.
So it's if I ever experience what happened.
Yeah, well, here's what happened was a couple of years ago, he was like, I have this, Patreon account, and I've been doing this more or less for free, but there's the buy me a coffee link, and nobody's clicked it in a long time, and Amazon runs on this package, and they won't pay me. They decided to stop paying me for it, so I'm out. He said, I'm out. And then people freaked out, like, no, here's the coffee, and you got like a little bit of money. But Amazon didn't start paying for the service again. They could hire somebody to do it,
Yeah,
but that's 150 grand a year. They are still choosing not to.
wow, that's like chump change stuff too, like.
Nothing,
Yeah,
a rounding error,
yeah,
yeah. But you don't become Amazon by like paying your workers, do you?
you're like signing in bathroom things.
Right, exactly, right? But they're, yeah, right?
Because it's better than all of it, right?
So, I mean, it's a bit of a problem. And we're gonna encounter this time and time again where we're trying to install something and it's like, oh, you need lib curl XML. You're like, oh, what is that? That's something that some dude in a basement in Belarus has been maintaining since 2003. And our bioinformatics is not gonna run without it. When it goes out of date, so we update the architecture of a computer, say the new M2 chips in Apple. Somebody's gotta update that library to work in that new computer architecture, and if they don't, bioinformatics stops on that type of computer. There was a lag when people started switching to the new M2 chips, like, these are awesome, they're super fast. Nothing works. And so these bioinformatics pipelines broke down for about 6 months until people updated those libraries.
feel like on a cluster is fine though.
Yeah,
So like, so most like softwares that we make nowadays, there's like, it's still timeless to get that on a cluster or like. you have to-
timeless is a kind of hard thing to
You can't say.
expect. I don't think you can say timeless. Things break down over time, right? The Renton building is getting another facelift, right? Like all of this whole edifice needs people maintaining it because technology keeps advancing. If we get a new type of computer chip, we need a new compiler that can build our, seed kit for that particular architecture. When we downloaded the seed kit, it was just a file that we extracted. That's because it had already been compiled to run on a Linux AMD 64 type architecture. If you go to a different HPC that's running a different type of computer chip, you may have to download a different file. It's been pre-built for that. Can't find one, what do you do? No, and that's what we're talking about here. It's like we got kind of lucky with SeatKit. Wei is a superhuman. I like that guy because he pre-compiled that for a bunch of different architectures, and we downloaded the one that was right for our cluster. But when that's not available, and that's going to be more than half the time, what do? We have to create an environment. And so that's what we're talking about today. Is like we're basically trying to pack this house of cards all together, including this little version of the software down here. And we're going to try to preserve that and make it quote unquote timeless by sticking all this together. Right? We want to run SeatKit. It's up here, but it depends on all this other stuff. Right? SeatKit itself, do you think that Wei in his lab, they reinvented how to do math in C++? No, right? They imported somebody else's library that does math. So this is called a software dependency. So the software I write always depends on other people's stuff because I don't want to reinvent how to do calculus with 1 zeros. Somebody else already did that, so I'll just import their instructions for calculus. Yeah. And so when we install software, it comes with those dependencies.
So it almost like has those like import lines. Like I'm just like thinking in terms of like.
In terms of Python, absolutely.
So it's like it has those.
Import pandas as PD, that somebody, actually a big team of people that's working on pandas. And it's got what available? Like, why do you import pandas?
It's like the best like data like never.
And it's not as good as tidyverse and R. It's getting close. Like pandas was invented to try to replicate R's tidyverse. But it's for working with data frames and rectangular data and transforming, and it's super great for like working with data in a data science way. Python can't do that on its own. Somebody had to write the library, and so you're like, if I want to use these tools for like making a data frame, I need to import the instructions for that.
So like, is the difference between like a library and like the software dependency something like a library doesn't rely on any like import lines or anything?
No, libraries, it can cascade. This can be recursive. So if I want to run this tool up here, it will import that. And to run that, it's got to import both of those. Both of those depend on this, which depends on that, and all these. Like, it's seriously a big tangled spider web of mess.
So they're like,
You said okay, just so like nonchalantly.
It's
You should have been like, okay, because
It's
it's
a
scary.
lot.
It's like a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
so like they're kind of like the seat and like pandas are almost like the same kind of format where it's like it's just like something that does something that uses other stuff to do it. So like they're kind of like equal.
Yeah, and then it goes, it's like turtles all the way down, right? And like you go back far enough and suddenly there's a compiler that turns C++ code or Rust code, it's usually one of those two, into like one particular architecture of a computer. And then now you're talking like actual computer science, and we're getting out of data science and bioinformatics, and you go to the computer science department and say like, how does 1 and 0 mean something on this computer? And they get esoteric and weird about like how computer chips actually work. You're like, okay, it's too much, right? And so everything depends on everything else down until you get to the physical level of like a semi-transistor in silicon, right? And that depends on semiconductors and quantum mechanics. It gets really ugly. For us, we can abstract it at least as far as the software dependencies. Every now and then you may have to worry about like, oh, this isn't compiled for my architecture because I'm running an M2 chip in my MacBook Pro. So I need to download the M2 version of this software. It took a few months for people to get that version available, but a few months, it's not too bad. Like, in the meantime, you can use the older version on HPC or whatever. So an environment is describing all of this that we've been talking about. It's that whole surrounding setup. It's the context that your computer sees when it tries to like run code. What's in my environment here in Bora? ENV shows me. And that's my environment. Look at all that stuff. So it's showing me like, hey, by the way, you're running a shell and it's bash. That's part of the context. We were running Z shell on a Mac. That's something to keep in mind. It works a little bit differently. You're in a Slurm environment. Simple Linux Utility Resource Manager. Okay, so since we're on an HPC, it's keeping track of all of us. Like a people overlord, and it's like deciding what we have here and who gets to run what when. And so it's saying here's where your home for Slurm is. You're running that version of Slurm. Your platform is named Bora, right? So like there's all this stuff in your environment, and one of them is your path. So we've seen that one before. And so all the things that are in these directories are part of my environment also. The fact that I can say seek kit means that seek kit is available in my environment. That's part of the context of this particular shell that I'm working in. If somebody hadn't downloaded seek kit, they'd have a different environment. So if I gave them code that used seek kit, they can't run it because they're not in the same environment. So to make our code reproducible, we have to recreate the whole environment, the context of where that code is run. So ideally, we make ourselves a self-contained workspace. So this is like, we're going to define all the programs and libraries and settings that are available. If you're running some R code in R version 3.2, it will not run code that was written for version 4.5. If you want to run that old R code, you need to have R version 3.2 available to you. So you need to be able to like make that environment say like, oh, the R I'm using is 3.2 because it's this old code. It depends on that. So this house of cards, we kind of ideally want to be able to snapshot it so we can future-proof it. People come up with different ways of like trying to do this. One We'll talk about 3 in detail and 1 extra. That might be the ultimate solution, but has its own problems. So first off, we've got modules. So if we're on the HPC, and this is where you'll usually see them, is in a high performance. You can say module avail. What modules do I have available? It gives you a little scrollable list. What do we got here?
Tons of things in the portal.
We could use any of these. So what are they?
JDK like the version Java,
Yeah.
we can import like that Java maybe.
So we can get that Java version 23. That's good. Python and R. We've got Python 3.12.7.
We can import Kraken too.
Kraken 2, that's bioinformatics software. OpenMPI is for running like multiple parallel stuff across different nodes. Multiple parallel stuff across different nodes. So we could say like, give me 10 whole nodes of your giant supercomputer and I'm gonna split up my job on them. And they're gonna talk to each other. Most bioinformatics software is not good at that. So we won't use it in this class. There's Ruby, that's another language. SAM tools, that's handy, that's bioinformatics. I hit Q to get out of this, so I don't want to scroll to the end. I'm going to show you a different HPC. Yeah,
What's the difference between modules and apps? Cause I only asked because like, you have like cyclone/app/module file name above that was like local/modules,
where is some of this?
like a blue texture covering over. Like the first two.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
They're stored in different like locations and everything, but they work the same way.
okay.
I've not noticed a difference.
Right.
You can still call them with modules. The admins have their own reason for putting them here versus here.
I don't know the apps, I just have like that.
Did you scroll down?
So you just. Oh.
Yeah.
So, okay, so it just like this.
Yeah, it's like less. It gives you a scrollable. You can Q to get out. TeamSpeak's not working. There we go. It's gonna ask me for my little passcode.
It's a good thing.
There we go. So this is a different cluster. This is the University of Utah's cluster. And we're going to see what modules are available here. Tricked the fuck out. Why the difference?
We have like 3 versions of Kraken too.
Oh yeah, man.
There's every version that
You get old versions of stuff in there. You get all the, if you want freebase.
every version is free.
Yeah.
That's 2.
Hey, there's SeekKit. Version 2.8.2 if you want that version. How do you get a new module in here? You email the admins and you say, please give me a module for this version of this software. And they do a little IT support ticket and they run it. The difference here is that we've got 2 to 3 people running this HPC. The University of Utah has a staff of 38 full-time employees, all with masters and PhDs. Why? So they got a research hospital on campus. And they were one of the first nodes on the internet. The first message ever sent between two computers, one of the nodes was University of Utah. And they were trying to send the word hello, but it got truncated to just low. So the first internet message ever passed was low. And so they're real proud of that like heritage, right? And the other node was at Bell Labs, right? That did all the IBM stuff and sent people to the moon and things like that. So it's just a much bigger HPC and it's been around longer and accumulated a crap ton of like employees. And I email the admins here and say, I want SAMTools 1.10 to run some old thing. I did actually ask for that one. 2 hours later, it's there. Here, it may take a few days. That's okay, but we can wait a few days if we want a module. So yeah,
So like, in terms of like how they're setting this up, why does it like take so long? I feel like if you're just like downloading it from the computer, like everyone, or you're just making it so that like,
you also got to get it installed and compiled and like put it in the path and all this. And you have other problems arising and you're answering emails that I hear and like it just gets
Is it
lower
just
in
like-
priority.
is it like how, is it the same way that we do it, where it's like, there's like a global path for everyone? And then we're just adding that in
Yeah.
to like some directory and the, some hard drive on the cluster or
Just
something?
scroll up here, yeah, right here. And so then they gotta turn it into a module and stick it in a spot, so they put them in different places depending on, they have their reasons, that I don't understand, that's okay. The fact that they still have Python 3.9 blows my mind, that caused like a global shutdown of all kinds of software. They pushed 3.9, it broke everything, but okay. You got it, so it's just, there's a lot more to choose from here. But that doesn't mean it's better, it just means it's easier to use right out of the gate, because if you want some software, you don't have to install it. You can get out of here and get back into Bora.
And so you can like access their cluster even though you're in noise or not to be in the area. Is that what like the Google Protect is like doing, or like how does that?
They have my phone, and so that they pushed a little duo authentication, just to make sure it's me. I don't know how much longer I'll have my account there. As soon as they find out I've moved to William and Mary, they'll kick me off, but they don't know yet. I'm not going to tell them. Because sometimes I need like really big resources, and until my personal servers come in and get added to the HPC here, I can't run some stuff. But I'm buying two Monster 96 core 1 terabyte servers. The HPC will manage them, anyone can use it. We'll see what that means, but I can kick them off. So if you decide to use one of my servers for your big project, help yourself.
What are you gonna name them?
I'm not gonna tell you.
We're gonna see in like a little bit.
But if I run a job and use those, it'll just boot you off, and so you may lose your work. So that's all right. So module avail, we can just ask for the software, and so we can, let's do R. And they've got it as a lowercase r, so I'm going to say module load R. Bingo. Now I've got R as a capital R, and look at this, I'm running it. My command prompt has changed. I'm in R version 4.4.0. To get out of this, I have to say quit with those parentheses. It'll say if I want to save no. Which R? Look at that. So I've got R.
So, in theory, could we just run an R within our terminals like in our studio?
Yes. And if you write your R script in R Studio, because it's nice and pretty to work with, much nicer than writing in here. You save that .r file. You can import that .r file to the HPC and hit go. Yeah, not on the login terminal.
Sweet of that.
We're gonna learn how to submit a job soon. Yeah. Once we know how to manage an environment, then we can, that's the last step, and we can start submitting jobs. Yeah, Rosie.
I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Okay, so is it that it was able to find the modules because that's the stuff that we're not supposed to edit on the -RC?
No, the modules are put there by the admins,
Okay,
and they're running, if I say module list,
Mhm.
it'll show me what's running, you're currently loaded. When you log into HPC, you're actually running a couple things already. Slurm, which is like the permissions and management stuff, and then you're running modules. That's just automatic. So anyone who logs in is already running this thing called modules, and that's why I can say module avail. And it shows me what's available. So if I see software here, like, oh yeah, I want to run MATLAB on the HPC, I just say module load MATLAB. And that's it. That gives us that software in our environment, and that makes it reproducible on this HPC. There's the key. You don't get to say module load MATLAB on your laptop. Won't work. But when it's available, so freaking handy. It's like pushing the easy button, like give me this version of that software and this version of that software, and now I'm gonna run my pipeline. So if I need Kraken and PWA and Bowtie, module load all three of those and hit go and start running it.
What is like the benefit of that, please?
The benefit is that it's super easy. That the admins take care of managing all your versions and like all the tricky install stuff. And that you, the user of this HPC, when you submit a job, the first line of your job can just be, module load R, because I'm gonna run some R script. So that sets up the environment. So that's what we're talking about here. It's like setting up an environment. This is the easiest way to do it, but it depends on other people installing things for you. And if you take it to another HPC, it's not gonna work. You take it to your computer, it's not gonna work. So there's a limitation.
I think I'm still confused about running modules.
Okay, so a module is a way for the admins to make software available to everyone on the system so that you don't have to install it yourself. So when we got SeatKit, we had to go find it and download the file, extract it, put it in our path, all that stuff. That whole nonsense that we were doing with that was essentially the same thing that the admins are doing when they make a module. Only now we don't have to go actually install it ourselves, we just say module load. So you make them do the hard part.
So, I think I'm just so confused. If you were to use, you said like you could do like multiple modules with different. Like programs, why would you need that to run a pipeline? Like why would you need, is it just like a different tool? you use?
Yeah, the different tools. So like, Bowtie 2 is for aligning DNA sequences. If there's a step in my pipeline where I'm like, now I need to align these. You don't want to write that software yourself. You just want to say like basically import Bowtie 2. And so module load says, all right, we're gonna take Bowtie 2, we've got it installed. Here's the compiler we use in the version, like they're putting that in there to be nice for us. And then when I say which R, it's in my path already, and so it like puts it in your path.
Okay.
So you don't have to do any of that horrible stuff that I made you do for that assignment. You just say module load. But I don't see SeekKit as a module here. So you've got a couple options. You could actually just install it yourself like you did. Or you can send an email to the HPC help and say, hi, I'd like a module for this software, this version, and then just link to the page. You'll get around to it when they do. Usually pretty quick, a day or two. Or they may ask, you sure? Looks like a pretty easy install. How about you just do this yourself? Kind of depends on how busy Eric is. If the power has gone out again, we're restarting all the servers, he might just be like, maybe in a week or two, I'll get that, in the meantime. Get good, like, learn how to do this, yeah, who knows? So it puts us at the mercy of the admins, but it takes away portability, we can't use this on other machines. But man, it is nice when you can just say module load.
I'm question like in terms of like versions of software, like knowing when to use when and then when to like refresh or not refresh software. Like what's like a good practice for something like if I'm using like CKit version of this right now and then if I update it, like how do I know if it's gonna break it or should I even
Don't.
update it or okay.
You go to the like forum and say, is this broken anything for anybody? I'm kind of nervous to update, and they'll probably answer, if it works, don't fix it.
Mm.
Alright, and so then when you go and write your paper, you say like, here's the version of CKit I use. And if you want to reproduce this, use this version of CKit.
It's not like good practice, just like always have the most updated version of software.
Not necessarily. If things are working and you're getting answers and your pipeline works, lock that in. We don't have time today, but we're gonna learn about making a lock file that kind of like creates that environment. First, easiest thing we've done is module load. Now, you've actually done another way of creating an environment, and that's you've installed GH, you've installed CKit, you've installed CTK, and then you added them to your path. That's you creating an environment also. But to be portable, again, it's not. You take that to another computer and what's gotta happen? The whole install process has to happen again. So you can make a script for that, right? You did for like GH. For that assignment, you made a script that installed GH and added to the path and all that good stuff. So you could have that be a script that you send to people like, here's the script that will set up your environment. Not bad. If you're both working on the same HPC, you can just say, first line of my pipeline is module load R Python 3.12, bow tie 2, whatever.
It's like separate, kind of random question, but when we first got into the HPC, they gave us like or at least gave me an end date of like how long my account was active for.
Mhm.
Can you renew or is it
You can
gonna get
renew.
rid of everything?
You can renew.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I did, like, say I missed renewing, everything's gone.
They keep it for like I think like 3 to 6 months.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's backed up for a while.
okay, so I'll be able to access everything, say I like,
You won't be able to log into
no, but like when
when you come back.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, what I'd recommend doing is at the end of this semester, just send an email to HPC and say I'd like to renew.
Okay.
Yeah, and they'll let you keep it, I think, for as long as you've got your learning to merit credits. But then you graduate and what happens? Then you're screwed.
That's what they rated me, that's what's.
Oh, that's way worse. Have you used it before? It's incredibly confusing. Okay. So that's a module, and then you've done this one, manual local install. We downloaded, we compiled, did all that stuff. We are out of time, but look through this lesson between now and next class, and we'll go through it together because Conda can get confusing, I think, but Conda is kind of this middle ground. And then there's Docker, which tries to do this, package this entire thing in a box. Every piece of software and all of its dependencies and their versions and everything gets locked up into a fake computer system. When you load Docker, it's like you've got a different computer and you run software inside of it. It's kind of a nightmare.
For next week, since it's like next week's fall break, it's like our assignment stakes, can we do Tuesday after?
After, let's make it after. You can have a nice fall break. Enjoy yourself. I'll be in Maine, so yeah, fun.
What about the?
Yeah, same.
So, yeah, it's just like-
Yeah,
Tuesday after or Thursday?
Tuesday after. Otherwise, it'll get stale.
So are we like after class on Tuesday gonna like all the stuff that we need to like do this?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So Tuesday, we're gonna go through this lesson in detail. I'd like you to check it out between now and then. But you'll come up with questions and stuff, and so, you know, we're kind of outsourcing. Do the busy work away from here, and then come and we'll like talk through it and like make things work that weren't working for you. We're gonna use BB Map. The software toolkit, the bioinformatics thing. And we're gonna install it a few different ways. We don't have a module for it. Cool. All right, get out of here. I'll stick around for a minute or two. If you have questions.
Let's do the next, what's the next thing?